Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Tiny Bunny. Things are kicking off. I spilled a water bottle on myself, and we're gonna get going now, okay? Episode 1, The Owl Will Arrive. I remember that being in the prologue. Why is this in Russian? And it's voiced?
Сколько раз говорила, не читай за столом, вредно. Сидишь, сутулился весь.
Okay, so this is about where I was last time. They added a lot. So from the prologue to this one, it's like when he was running from the dogs, there was like like there were sounds that he was doing things, and like you could hear the mom in the kitchen in the other room when she walked away. Interesting. I think some of the dialogue might be different, but it's basically this. It's different but inconsequential, and it's also, I didn't know that it was like voice acted, but it's in Russian, even though the subtitles are in English. If it's annoying, let me know, but I'll keep it on for this episode just to see how it is. It has come after all, the day I feared the most, the first day of a new school term. It's okay, dude. Just school. It's the easiest thing you'll ever do, trust me. Episode 2, Time to Play With You. That could be sinister. We'll see how it goes. New school, new teachers, and most importantly, new classmates, who I always have trouble connecting with. Dude, I feel you. Like most other kids with glasses. Okay. I forced myself to get out of my warm bed. Dad would usually drive me to my old school, but this morning the bedroom of my parents was silent. Did they sleep in? Maybe it was a good thing. I didn't want to get the daddy's boy reputation from day one. How old are you? It's fine. My parents were probably still tucked in, dreaming about the good old days when everything was so simple and easy. Sweet dreams, even if far removed from reality. I silently sneaked out to the first floor so I wouldn't wake up anybody, especially the peacefully sleeping Olya. I did my best to step on the middle of every floorboard. Boy knows the house already, damn. I used to play like this even in our old apartment. If my soles touched the space between the floorboards, it counted as stepping into lava. The clock was spurring me on with its hands. I need to hurry. Faster. Faster. I was too fast, so I needed to circle the hallway once again. Boiling lava was bursting out of the cracks between floorboards. I need to watch my step to survive at any cost. Because if you step on lava, you just insta-die. That's just how it goes. Hippity-hop, like a frog jumping on molehills, like a fearful bunny in a grove full of wolves. Jeez. I made a sandwich in the kitchen, shoved it down my throat, and drank it down with cold tea. My appetite was as good as of someone being led up the scaffold toward a guillotine. I lowered my gaze and saw that one of my feet was standing on two floorboards at the same time. Burnt to a crisp, huh? I moved my foot. Disgusting little snakes writhed in my belly, the fear of getting hit and being called nasty names. Dude, relax. The clock ticked. I need to go. It was dark outside, fitting for an early winter morning. This darkness never fully left the houses around here. I took my time tying my shoes, buttoning up the puffy down jacket, trying to delay my unpleasant exit into the semi-dark, into the unnerving unknown. I rubbed my glasses for good luck, though I couldn't remember a single time these thick pieces of glass brought me any good fortune. He's going to school? How early is it? The moon is still out. I do remember this, though. Like, laying on the couch with my brother watching Zoids so early in the morning that it was still pitch black out. Kids should not be awake during then. The sky was akin to a giant bruise. On the east side of it, a black cloud was swelling up. It licked up stars from the sky and extinguished the rising sun. Darkness was plastered all over the treetops. The cautious cries of birds got tangled up in the thicket. I locked the front door with a long key that I wore around my neck. My parents made me wear this noose, afraid that I, being a total klutz that I am, could lose the key otherwise. Probably. The wind whizzed on the other side of the gate. It invited me into my new life, toward dubious adventures. And tagged alone like an old buddy pushing me in the back. Jeez, tagged along like and old buddy pushing me in the back. Wide shadows that pines threw out covered a third of the clearing. Upon reaching the edge of the forest, I hid my nose in my coat's collar. I was squeezing through the thin fire break, my hair ruffled up and my back hunched over. Tall trees stood on both sides of the tiny trail. He needs to walk through the woods to get to freaking school. This is like the trip that like the grandpa from Rugrats had to take. 15 miles up a hill both ways. The snowy blanket rustled under my feet, and the canopy of intertwined branches above my head cut me off from my already sparse starlight. Tonight had no plans of moving away from the forest. In this darkness, trees reminded me of shaggy old women that smelled of burial earth. Their trunks turned into cracked, wrinkled faces with holes in the middle of their mouths. If I lost focus even for a moment, mold-covered witches would drag me into the forest depths. Then my parents would be walking around these parts screaming my name. But the dead can't answer the living. Damn, Grandma! Or can they? A sense of panic was growing in my chest. Of course it was. I was fine with Dad carrying me into the school in his hands by now, if it saved me from watching the darkness rise up in the ravines like black dough. It felt like someone jumped into the bushes behind me, so I turned around. As soon as I started walking faster, I heard the snow squeak behind me. The forest took a deep breath with its giant lungs. The windfall cracked. The wind and the birds were left behind in the field. Now I could only hear the forest creak. I walked, listened closely, and the unseen presence grew stronger. As if someone was following me, trying to match the pace of my footsteps. I turned my head so fast it made my neck crunch. A tiny trail behind me disappeared into the darkness. Tree branches overlapped, forming a natural tunnel. Who's there? The question escaped my lips and dissolved into the unending creaking sound of the wooden idols, the pines around me. Why did I think going through the forest alone was a good idea? I'm either going mad, or someone had intentionally lured me away from home. Distant lights granted me a smidgen of hope. A country road. I ran there as fast as I could, as if that trail will shrink. Clawed hands will grip me by the shoulders, turn me around, and make me look at the faces of hungry forest denizens. In the end, nobody stopped me. I almost flew to the decrepit wooden bridge, disbelieving my luck. The bridge's supports bathed in a spring, tarry, and ice cold. I put my hands on my knees and looked up at the forest, then snorted, trying to calm my breathing. I don't know how quiet it is. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. If it blows your ears out, I'm sorry, but just know that it blew mine out way harder. Okay. The thicket was pretending to be asleep. It looked peaceful, lifeless. The remaining part of my commute lied through a snow-laden road, illuminated by sparse lamplights. I chased away bad thoughts and ran as fast as I could, from one circle of light to another, seeking protection from electric lamps. Just like in that game where you need to be the first to proclaim, "I'm protected." No idea what he's talking about. It's just in this case that protection was flimsy at best, with darkness writhing around outside its bounds. Then I noticed something remarkably eerie. In a place where the light from an inclined lamp couldn't reach, a hairy, crooked shadow came alive with a guttural roar. That's such a nasty sound. It almost felt like its features deterred light. Its natural pose instilled fear. My eyes almost popped out of their sockets as I just stood there, blinking, trying to chase away that illusion. But the shadow didn't disappear and even got closer. My insides were gripped by horror. I stepped back and almost fell into a pile of snow. The black silhouette, on the other hand, straightened up and addressed me in a sweet voice. Sneaking around, huh? Trying to steal my soul? Words got stuck in my throat. Who could be talking in such a silky voice between the forest and the dormant village? Will you say something, dummy? Cat got your tongue? Alright, I'll bite off your nose then. That'll teach you not to poke in places it doesn't belong. Why am I talking over it? A girl stood before me, judging from the voice and the silhouette. but I couldn't even reprimand myself for getting scared by a girl before noticing a gaping mouth under her hood with something dangerously shiny inside. I was stunned. She's wearing a friggin' wolf mask? What the hell? From the cavity of her hood, a frighteningly real fox face was staring straight at me. It's just her jaws weren't moving and her eyes weren't blinking. A mask. It's just a girl with a fox mask on. There you go. At least I wanted to think that. After a surprise like that, a nervous smile involuntarily crept onto my face. I was just going to school and then you... What about me? Never seen a fox feed a dog? And indeed, there was a small dog circling the girl's legs. One of the strays that were chasing me yesterday, probably. Sorry, I didn't mean to. After hearing my voice, the dog whimpered, lowered its ears, sniffed me out, and then started wagging its tail. I guess I still smelled of bologna that I ate before breakfast. Wait, for breakfast. I was shifting my gaze back and forth from the dog to the girl. She didn't seem scary anymore, just weird. So you didn't mean to, huh? What's your name? I'm Anton. And you? And I'm not... Oh, jeez, the eyes freaked me out. She's weird. Definitely has a couple loose screws. But she has a nice voice. My astonishment has turned into a mix of happiness and relief. This girl I didn't know was definitely human, if a bit eccentric. I was also a bit angry at myself. This foxy girl was walking through the darkness without problem, and I shuddered from every little sound. Yes, seriously, dude, grow up hair. You're 10 now, grow up. I could just walk away, but this girl had piqued my interest. The next time a police officer asked me about my friends at the new place, I'll tell them that I befriended a talking fox. Do you live around here? In the village? The fox giggled and purred. She spun around so hard the hem of her coat lifted up. No, dummy. Foxes don't live in villages. So you live in the forest, then? Have you been living under a rock? It's obvious that foxes can't survive anywhere near humans. As long as they're foxes. Her jokes were also weird. It's like her carnival mask. Paper mache with fur glued onto it. A dog reminded us of its existence with a loud bark. I unfastened my backpack. Dad would sometimes throw food in there without my knowledge. Cookies, apples, or even my favorite, crab steaks. He called it a gift from the bunny. The bunny was underlined. There's a lot of animal references. Guess who's the bunny? The stray strolled toward me with mincing footsteps with a pleading look in its eyes. The fox did definitely treat it to something, but it was probably still hungry. Why are you dressed like this so early in the morning? Are you going to a costume party? The girl shrugged, throwing silvery snowflakes off her nose, and her human form along with them, turning into a genuine beast. A real fox, agile, cunning, dangerous. Holy crap. A moment of hesitation and you'll be ripped to shreds. She'll tear you up and gulp you down without breaking a sweat. I couldn't help but just stand there as a stump. Till I heard her calm, melodic laughter hidden underneath the beastly mask. I wish you could have seen your own mask, sweetie. Did she call me sweetie? I got embarrassed, went red up to my hair roots. We'd seen a fox in a zoo once when we went there with Dad, but it had patchy fur, was gray and skinny. But this girl was of fiery color and furry, just like in fairy tales. I was still rummaging through my backpack. My fingers, that were searching for the dog's treat, stumbled upon some soft, crumpled object. You'll see. The real beast will wake up soon. You should ask them where they got their human faces. That's interesting. Is that like saying that like humans are two-faced and She's just wearing the beast on her sleeve or something like that. That's profound, but probably wrong. The girl's shadow was dancing in the lamp's light. The dog yapped in agreement. I freaked out and dropped my finding in the snow without getting a proper chance to examine it. Cold wind instantly covered the hole it created with snow. The dog rushed to dig it out, wanting to get its treat. And the fox just snorted. Now I was so embarrassed I wanted to sink through the snow. It was still dark outside of the electric circle. On the contrary, the darkness seemed even more thick. All neighboring houses were sleeping deeply in its inkiness. I did my best to continue the conversation with the weird girl I didn't know. So are you going to school? Oh my, you are a real dummy. Don't you get it? Well, I was trying to be friendly, but she can't stop mocking me. Calling me a dummy and all. I should have just moved along without paying any attention to this weirdo and her stupid dog. Why are you so mean? Don't ask her if you don't want to. It's not like I care. Still, something froze me in place, tugged me toward the dark figure. A mysterious appearance, her voice that was velvety and just languid enough. I was intrigued and excited. I watched her as people watch fires burn. Aw, stop pouting. Look here. Zulka took a liking to you. The dog was digging through the snow with sharp movements, snoring loudly. The fox turned around and looked at the windows of a nearby house, at its timbered front through the white mist. The tip of her fake nose was shining under the lamp's light. And maybe someone else, too. I went red again, like a boiled crayfish this time. She talking about herself or someone else? I hoped that the semi-dark would be able to hide my embarrassment from the girl. I cleared my throat before asking. And who's that person? I waited, counting my heartbeat. The fox didn't reply. Her sly stare was scanning the frosty patterns of someone's window. She was reading them like a glass book. I wonder what she can see in those winter paintings. The stray stopped rummaging through the snow. It ran to me, holding my object in her jaws. A mitten. Could it be the one I found in the forest? What's it doing here? When I looked closer, I realized that it was just my mitten. Maybe Mom stuffed it in there when I was asleep. A certain missing boy immediately came to mind. Hey, do you know anything about Vova? I imagined the scene, silhouettes dancing in the clearing. Dance in the night when Vova had disappeared. A boy, who when found, can provide a big reward and maybe save my family. I remembered my birthday, when my parents promised to take me and Olia to Disneyland in Paris. But instead of a long-anticipated gift, they gave me a simple brick game console, visibly embarrassed. I was crying my eyes out back then, demanding to take me to the promised amusement park. That was the first time when my mom and dad had a big fight. My greediness shattered their relationship. Aw, that's sad. And yeah, that's just sad. If only I could fix everything. Gather everybody I love and take them to Disneyland. On the night Vova had disappeared, I think I saw someone looking like you dancing under my window. Bah. It couldn't be true, but I felt like her mask became even more sly. The fox was sniffing me out. Oh, that got you worried? For yourself or for someone else? Oh yeah. As soon as I thought about my sister, my chest tightened and cold sweat streamed down my spine. Well then listen closely, a boy named Anton. This is a big and scary forest. The girl stepped forward menacingly. And I'm not its only tenant. The other beasts already know about you. Beware. We'll come again tonight. I shouldn't have talked to this evil in child form, I thought, panicking. When you and your parents will be fast asleep, we'll sneak really close and dance. Macarena.
Чё?
What?
Эй, Макарена!
Yeah.
У тебя прямо челюсть отвисла, Антоша!
Antosha. Look at you. Your mouth is agape, Antosha.
Видел он меня ночью у своего окна. Ага, как же!
He saw me near his window at night. Yeah, right.
А ты случаем не местный дурачок?
You by any chance a dimwit?
Меня не отпускают гулять так поздно.
Nobody would let me go outside that late.
Здесь, знаешь ли, дети пропадают.
Children go missing here, you know. I touched the plastic frame of my glasses, puzzled by her silly joke. She got me scared to death.
Ой, да не тереби ты окуляры свои.
Hey, why don't you stop fondling your glasses?
Я раньше тоже близорукой была.
I was also nearsighted.
Лучше
Once.
послушай меня. Может быть, ума наберешься.
Listen to me and maybe you'll become smarter.
Лисичку как обычно называют?
Remember, what do they call foxes?
Плутовка.
Cunning? My words seemed to hurt her.
Ох ты ж! Да как ты меня?
Hey, what?
Ой, прости.
Sorry. This person is so bizarre. Her laughter was akin to the jingle of a pair of silver bells.
Да шучу я.
Just pulling your leg.
Конечно, плутовкой.
Of course we're cunning.
Если ты ловкий и смелый, не боишься с плутовкой водиться, я, так и быть, помогу разыскать этого Вову.
If you're agile and brave enough to befriend a cunning fox, I'll help you look for your vulva.
Ты же неспроста его ищешь, да?
There's a reason why you're doing it, right? I shrugged in reply. Her insight was alarming.
Знаю, почему дети повадились соваться в наш лес.
Interesting. I know why children have been swarming into our forest recently.
Порой там можно найти много всякого интересного.
Sometimes you can find a lot of interesting stuff there.
Я вот однажды нашла целый сугроб конфет и купалась в нем, да так что челюсть слиплась.
One day I saw a huge pile of candy once and I swam in it until my jaws cramped. A pile of candy? I couldn't deduce whether she believed in what she was saying from the tone of her voice. I showed her another smile, a fake one this time.
Посмотрите-ка, какой недоверчивый.
Boo, so wary.
Ну-ну, а что ты на это скажешь?
Well, what will you say to this then? She actually has just a handful of candy. She held out her hand in a furry mitten. There was an assortment of sweets in her palm. In the city where I used to live, sweets like these were sold at markets or in kiosks. Why is that? What is this? Glossary? It's defining kiosk for me. I saw my favorite bubblegum in a vivid wrapper among the tasty treats. Turbo gum? A familiar name was on it. Turbo. A triangular fox face poked her nose towards me.
Угощайся.
Take some.
У меня их полные карманы.
My pockets are full of these. Seems like a bad idea to take candy from a stranger. Especially when it's twisted as this. It could be innocent, though. It could lead to clues, also. Hey. Ah. The fact that it lights up her entire body is interesting. I feel like, okay. Let's see what happens. I accepted the treat and kept catching a whiff of the girl's smell. Fur, fireworks, and citrus. The smell of holidays. My fingers tingled while I was carefully unwrapping the gum. Peachy aroma entered my nostrils, and something else. Something unfamiliar, but pleasant. The fruity cube ended up in my mouth. Well, I mean, I hope so. I started moving my molars, chewing the gum. It tasted like your usual Turkish gum, only my tongue went a bit numb. I couldn't believe my luck after opening the insert. I looked at a Mercedes-Benz, an extremely rare and hence desirable collector's item for any boy from my previous neighborhood. My heart skipped a beat. I was barely able to tear my eyes off the insert, still stunned.
Это же... Это...
Like a trading card? This...
Теперь понял, понял, что можно найти в лесу?
Now do you see what can be found in the forest?
Только на твоем месте я бы туда в одиночку не ходила.
Still, I wouldn't go there alone if I were you.
Тебе вон от жвачки в забу дыхание сперло.
You get so flustered over simple bubblegum after all.
А представляешь, что с тобой будет, если найдешь чемодан таких фантиков?
Imagine what would happen if you found a travel case worth of these. Full of these?
Голову напрочь снесет.
It'll surely blow your mind. Unusual treats. Just like everything else about her. I carefully hid the insert in my bag as if I was putting a rare butterfly in a can. The fox giggled. This is not how things are supposed to go on a Monday morning. Who are you? I got an achievement. Sweet. I refrained from asking that question. She wouldn't answer anyway, or she'll just lie. I really wanted to see what's behind her mask. I was becoming more and more sure that underneath it wasn't just a simple young girl. It's starting to snow.
Может, Вова тоже нашел сугроб сладостей и теперь кувыркается в нем?
What if Vova also found a snow pile with sweets and is now rolling in it?
Слушай, вдруг он решил остаться в лесу?
Actually, what if he decided to stay in the forest?
Тогда, наверное, ему очень холодно в одной варежке.
He must be so cold without a second mitten then. The wind caught her words like smoke from a fire and carried them deep into the darkness, into the creepy thicket. I've been talking to this one person for like 15 minutes. The trees behind me creaked with their bony branches.
Или с ним что-то случилось в пути.
Or what if something happened to him along the way?
Что-то страшное.
Something terrible. The forest reacted to her words, became alive. It sniffed me out, perking up its ears, just like a curious beast. The fox girl pierced me with her eyes again.
Дикие звери?
Wild beasts?
Это, по-твоему, страшно?
You find that scary?
Ну, не знаю.
I don't know.
Не знает.
He doesn't know.
Уж не с двоечником ли я подружилась?
Oh my, have I befriended a dunce? I didn't like being called a dunce, yet being friends with her sounded nice.
Я хорошист.
My grades are good.
Бел да пушист.
Really now?
Пойдешь со мной? Хорошист, Антон.
Will you come with me, good grades, Anton?
Найдем твоего Вову и сам его спросишь, что он нашел в этой пуще.
We'll find your Vova, and you'll be able to ask him what he found in the deep forest.
Ведь
Deep in the
пока
forest.
мы вместе, никто тебя в лесу не тронет.
As long as you're with me, nothing can hurt you in the forest.
Вот увидишь.
You'll see. Worms of worry writhed in my belly. Better run, whispered my mind.
Я тебе не верю.
I don't believe you.
Ты думаешь, я врунья?
Do you take me for a liar?
Да и пожалуйста, мне никогда никто не верит.
Whatever, you're just like everybody else. Essel. The girl sounded hurt, although I didn't know if she was genuine about it. She turned around as if she had immediately lost all interest in me. The gum felt bitter now. I remember my dad's favorite saying, "Where are your manners, son?" Indeed, this fox was kind to me.
Не обижайся, пожалуйста.
Please don't get mad.
Лисы бывают и добрыми.
Foxes can also be nice,
Ну, как в сказках.
like in fairy tales.
Мне бы только понять, что ты за лиса.
I just need to know what kind of fox you are. The girl giggled, hiding the nose of her mask in her hands.
Тогда пойдем со мной в лес, и ты
I don't like how her
всё
eyes
узнаешь.
disappear. Then follow me into the forest and you'll get to know me.
Но не сейчас, а когда рассветет.
But not right now.
Тебя, бедного, всего аж потряхивает.
But not right now, when it gets bright. I mean, your whole body is shaking, you poor thing.
Того и гляди, кондрашка хватит.
I don't want you to get a stroke.
Ай да, провожу тебя до школы.
Hey, let me accompany you to school. Ah. After hearing this, the dog barked in agreement and stopped messing with the mitten. I leaned in, trying to grab the piece of handwear that almost ran away
Ну,
from me.
если тебе по пути,
Well, if you're going in the same direction. We went towards the school in the lost dawn. Here and there, the lights came on in the windows of houses as we passed, as if their inhabitants were sending us warning signs. Silhouettes lurked behind curtains. Dogs let out occasional barks. I wonder if I didn't take the candy if she would have just left. Spirals of gray smoke rose from the chimneys. TVs bustled and dishes clanged in kitchens. We watched the village slowly rise from its slumber, while carefully treading the snowy wheeled trails. I walked in the left one and she took the right one. The dog was following right behind us. I expected the fox to bring up something weird again, but she stayed silent all the way to the school, as if playing with me some game only she was privy to. She would only giggle from time to time when the dog sneezed from the snowflakes that fell on its nose. I was the first to break the silence.
Так как тебя зовут?
So what's your name?
Ну, конечно.
Here it comes.
Имена, имена, имена.
Names, names, names.
Людям непременно надо вешать ярлыки на все подряд.
You people always need to put labels on everything.
Ну и как бы ты назвал такую лису, как я?
What name would you give to a fox like me?
Даже не знаю.
I don't know.
Но я читал про лису по имени Алиса.
But I've read about Alisa the fox.
А что?
You know what?
Я не против.
I don't mind.
Пусть будет Алиса.
I'll be Alisa. Now she's just Alisa. Okay. I couldn't understand if she was joking or not. I turned around as if looking for an answer from the dog, from the dark sky devoid of dawn. My silent questions were left unanswered. Why are there guys smoking outside? There's a lot of people smoking. The school's outline is already in our sight. A giant brick box stuck in the endless night. Lights in its windows didn't bode well for me. The warden trees were guarding the schoolyard. Screams, childish anger, and laughter, and someone's whistling tore up the silence. I went here with Mom when we just moved, and the place looked cozy at the time. Empty corridors that smelled of polish, puffy snow outside. The second time I came alone to get books and just kept on imagining my peers, rolling down the railings, grade schoolers, running to the library, and teachers marching down the corridor with the air of self-importance around them. High schoolers were smoking at the entrance, in track pants and wool caps perched on their foreheads. Their appearance destroyed the last hopes for a cozy school. Their stingy eyes and the teeth yellow from nicotine, their smirks, all of it had the same gloomy effect as the cloudy winter morning. Absorbed by my thoughts, I completely forgot about my companion.
После уроков жду тебя на заднем дворе.
I'll wait for you at the backyard after school.
Возле повешенного.
Near the hanged man.
Возле кого?
Near what? She just ignored my
Не
question.
опаздывай.
Don't be late. I hesitated. Blowing hot and cold again. Mom always said that when I would have trouble choosing between two options. Thinking about my mom helped me reply.
Я после школы сразу домой.
I'm going straight home after school.
Эх, Антоша, Антоша, это я тебя так просто отпустила.
Well, Antosha, I'm going to let you off the hook.
Другие же незаметно подкрадутся со своими улыбочками и вцепятся. Клещами не оторвешь.
But the others will creep up to you with their smiles and sink their teeth into you. Won't be able to shake them off as easily.
Попомни мои слова.
Remember my words. Huh. Don't know what to think about that. The fox opened her mouth in a wide yawn. What kind of trick is this? Someone running in the distance called out my name. I instinctively turned around. Aw. A huge snowball whizzed past my shoulder and hit the dog. It whimpered and ran toward the spring. The darkness devoured it. The fox girl was nowhere to be seen. She dissolved into frosty air. Or was she hiding in my shadow? I gulped and swallowed the gum. Unlucky. Okay. It's been 40 minutes. I talked to her for like half an hour. Holy crap. Okay, that was weird. Huh. I definitely thought it was a girl in a mask. I didn't like how the eyes kept like disappearing and getting dark and creepy. I don't know what to think about that though. What the frick? She actually opened the mouth, like, unless that's just part of it. It's like a fox skull or something. I don't know, but that was weird and interesting. Why is it still pitch black? Anyway, cutting it there. Getting more interesting. Thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying it along with me. We'll pick it up again. Bye-bye.